Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mayank and I'm a second year student at HEC Paris specializing in marketing. And in this video, I'm gonna show you my iPhone. I'm gonna show you all the apps that I use on a regular basis, and these are the apps that help me stay productive, organized, and creative. Before I get into it, I also wanna mention my email newsletter. It's called The Growth Curve, and I send an email out every single week on all the things that are helping me grow. The link is in the description below, and yeah, I think you should really go check it out. All right, let's first talk about my productivity apps. The most important productivity app that I use is Notion. If you're new to Notion, I think the best way I can describe it is that it's like Lego blocks, but for building your own productivity apps. I pretty much do everything in Notion. All of my tasks, all of my creative projects, they're all organized in Notion. I've set up boards for everything, or I've set up lists. All of my HEC stuff goes into Notion, so that basically means my class notes, my group projects. I use it for collaboration for group projects in particular, because then I can invite my group members to my Notion and we can all work on the project together on Notion. I also use Notion to manage this YouTube channel. I have a huge board set up with all of my video ideas and all the videos that are in various steps of the production process. I organize all of that stuff on Notion. I think this is the one thing that really ups my productivity by a lot. I also have things like reading lists and journals and notes and quick capture systems, all that stuff set up in my Notion. The thing with my Notion is that it's a constant work in progress. It's not like one finished thing. And I'm always constantly improving it, and very soon I'm going to be making a video about my current Notion setup, so stay tuned for that. The second most important productivity app for me is the calendar. This is basically just the default calendar in the iPhone, and I can't live without it. All of my life is on my calendar, so that basically means school stuff, personal stuff, social stuff, everything. It all goes into the calendar. It's the main way I keep myself organized, and I know what I have to spend my time on. I even have the widget on the home screen so that every morning when I open my phone, I see what's ahead of me. It's really useful. And the cool thing is that the HEC class calendar syncs to the calendar app really easily, so I can have everything in one place. And it also works really well with the Apple Watch. So that's why I use the basic calendar app, because I think it just does everything that I wanted to do, and yeah, it works really smoothly across all my devices. Next up, I use this email app called Spark. I've been using it for I think maybe a couple of years now. I started using it on the Mac, now I also use it on the iPhone. It's free and it's really customizable. That's what I like about it the most. I absolutely can't live without it. It has a lot of features, especially if you have multiple different email accounts. It works really well for that. I think it's Mac only, but yeah, if you have a Mac, yeah, go check it out. All right, next up, let's talk about the different social apps that I use. Of course, I use WhatsApp and Messenger. Mostly I use WhatsApp, but I feel like I have like some friends that I speak to only on Messenger, some friends that I speak to only on iMessage, and most of the people I speak to on WhatsApp. So it's a mix. But yeah, I have all these apps. That's like the standard stuff. I recently got Clubhouse. This is a really new app. It's essentially like there's a whole bunch of different clubs and there's rooms and there's like a whole bunch of people on it. They're talking. It's like, the way I would describe it, it's like being able to drop into Zoom conversations that are audio only among people that are really successful, really interesting. And you can like host your own as well. So I just got it a couple of weeks ago. I'm still trying to understand it. But yeah, I mean, if you're on Clubhouse, you can follow me at Mayank. It's just same as my Instagram, @Mayank. Other than that, I also have TikTok and WeChat. Honestly, I'm not on TikTok. I am on TikTok, but I never use it. I just have it on there because I'm in digital marketing and I feel like it's really important for me to know what's going on these platforms, and TikTok is a very relevant platform today, so it's just, I have to be on it. That's why I'm on it, but I don't spend a lot of time browsing it. Same thing with WeChat. I only have it because I have a bunch of Chinese friends who are on it, but you know what, most of them are actually not in China, so I end up texting them on other platforms like WhatsApp or Instagram. So I don't actually use it that much, but it's still there on my phone in case I need it. Next up, let's talk about some of the knowledge apps that I have. First one I want to talk about is the Kindle app. I also have an actual Kindle, but I find that having the app on my phone encourages me to read books more, because I may not have my Kindle on me all the time, especially when I go to the grocery store or whatever, but I have my phone with me all the time. And so anytime I get like a 5 or 10 minute break or a window, I try to make myself open the Kindle app and read rather than open Instagram or Facebook or any of these other apps that I'm going to essentially just waste my time on. So I find that to be really useful, to have the Kindle app and have books on your phone. It's not the ideal way to read books, but it's a great way to read more. Next, I also have Audible. So I used to have an Audible subscription about a year ago when I was living in LA, because I was spending a lot of time on public transport when I didn't want to have something to read with my eyes, because that was a bit difficult to read on a bus. So I got Audible and I downloaded a lot of books on Audible, but I didn't actually end up listening to all of them. So recently I downloaded it again and I'm trying to get more into audiobooks. Trying to listen to some audiobooks late at night before I go to bed. I also have Apple Podcasts. So I either use Apple Podcasts or I use Spotify to listen to podcasts. It's not something that I've got into a lot, but it's something that I'm trying to get into. I feel like recently there's been like this whole trend or like this whole wave of like audio only apps like Clubhouse, and then podcasts are becoming a lot more popular, and it's just something that I'm trying to explore more. And lastly, I don't know if it comes under knowledge or entertainment, it's a bit of both. Reddit. Absolutely love it. Love the platform. And if you're on Reddit, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not on Reddit, I think you should go check it out. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. I don't think it's for everyone, but it's really valuable. Alright, next let's talk about some of the utilities and finance apps that I use. First one is Lydia. Lydia is a cool French fintech startup, which is basically like Paytm in India, except that it also gives you a Visa card. It allows you to make internet payment cards that are virtual only for more security. It gives you a bank account number that you can use to transfer money from your main bank to this, to use it. And yeah, it's really useful. My favorite feature of Lydia, however, is that they don't charge currency conversion fees if you're shopping online or even if you're using your card abroad in different currencies. So I've used my Lydia card in the US, in UAE, I've used it in India, I've used it all over Europe, and there's no currency conversion fees. They just charge you the exact amount that they're supposed to charge you. They convert it to euros with a real-time rate and they charge you that. Super useful when you're traveling a lot. This year and last year, yeah, of course, I wasn't traveling much at all, so kind of stopped using it. But it's really useful to have. Also in France, it's a great way to just like pay your friends. Like I said, it's like Paytm, so it's useful to have. Next one is Remember. Remember is my password manager of choice. So about 2 years back, a whole bunch of my accounts got hacked, or they were at least attempted to be hacked, and that's when I decided that, you know what, I have to be more serious about my account security. So now I use Remember. I use this password manager, different passwords for everything. Yeah, honestly, you should read up on why it's important to use a password manager, and you should really start using one. My transit app of choice is Transit. It's got a really clean, simple UI, UX, really clean and minimal. I really like it, not very clunky. It just does the job, and yeah, that's what I use whenever I want to find out public transport directions or what bus is coming or what time the bus is coming, you know, stuff like that. Really useful. I think it's available in a bunch of different cities in Europe and in the US, and yeah, highly recommend to check it out. Lastly, I have Guitar Tuner, which is a guitar tuner. I use it every single day to tune my guitar. It's a pretty simple app. Next, let's talk about entertainment. To listen to my music, I use Spotify and I have the premium subscription. Cool thing, even if you're in France or anywhere else in the world, as long as you have an Indian bank account and an Indian card, you can pay the Indian price for Spotify Premium. So that works out to 60 rupees a month. That's like 75 cents. Really cheap. So yeah, that's what I use. It's really cool because in Europe here, even for students, it costs 5 euros. So that's about like 450 rupees a month. So yeah, it works out really well for me. Same thing with YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium here is like 10 euros a month. That's like 900 rupees. But I use my Indian card and I pay for that through that. And that costs like 129 rupees a month. It removes all the ads from YouTube and it allows me to keep videos playing in the background even with the phone locked. So that's super useful. And for 129 rupees a month, it's a no-brainer, I think. I have just one game on my phone because I'm not really much of a phone gamer. It's Mini Metro. I really enjoy this game. It's got a really cool UI and it's basically like you're making metro lines and yeah, you know, it's a really cool game. You should check it out. Finally, let's talk about the creativity apps that I use. The first one that I use is Adobe Lightroom. I think with like the latest iPhones being so powerful, Lightroom on iPhone has essentially the same features as Lightroom on the desktop, which is super cool. And it's included in the Photoshop and Lightroom subscription that I have for my desktop. So I just use it on my phone as well. Really like it. Second app that I use for creativity is Google Photos. That's where all of my photos are stored. And at one point I uploaded all of my digital photos to Google Photos. So I have like more than probably 30,000 photos on there from 2003 all the way till now. So it's like the app that I use to manage my photo library and also to share photos with my friends. Third app that I use is Helios. I don't use it that often, but it's a really useful app for me to have. It basically gives you a lot of information that are relevant to you as a photographer. My favorite feature of this app is the map, where it tells you which direction the sun is rising and setting in. It helps tremendously in planning out photo shoots. Another app that I really enjoy using is Hooji Cam. I think maybe some of you would have heard of this already, but it's essentially an app that lets you take photos, that look like they were taken with a disposable film camera from like way back when. So really cool. I like the effects that you get from it, and many times I upload photos on my Instagram taken from this app. So lastly, another app that I really enjoy using is Vision VHS, or I think it's also called VHS Cam. Super cool app, really simple. Essentially, it lets you take videos that look like they were taken with a VHS camcorder from the early or late 90s. Actually, there was an entire YouTube video that I made using this app. You should go check it out, it'll be somewhere here. That was in Santa Monica. Go check it out, let me know what you think. Alright, so these are the apps that I use on a regular basis on my iPhone. All the links to these apps is going to be there in the description, so you can go check them out for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And consider hitting that subscribe button, because I'll be uploading a lot more content just like this every single week. Alright, see you guys in the next one.